been booming, and there have been some super big acquisitions of some companies, like Facebook and Google are going in there and eating up these companies, it feels like. What does that mean for earlier stage companies? Is this like a good thing? Is it a potentially bad thing? Is it a little bit of both? Because obviously it creates more potential angel investors, but does it change the market for the smaller little guys? I just think it's super relevant right now, so I'd love to hear perspective on that.
I think one of the things it does is like drive the bottom of the funnel of entrepreneur. Like it makes everything more crowded. I mean, this is sort of a theme. But when someone sees Instagram get bought out or WhatsApp or whatever, all of a sudden that's a huge number of new people that think, oh, I can make a photo app. I should go do this because it's so easy to get bought out by Facebook. I don't know. To me, I think the biggest effect is like clutter. I don't think it has that much effect on sort of the people who would have been entrepreneurs anyway. I don't think it really affects that world too much. I think like a strong company is still going to be a strong company and have just as much likelihood of getting acquired or exiting in some other way. But it does mean that there's more kind of noise in the space, I think.
Yeah. So my point of view, obviously, a booming M&A market and just liquidity in general is positive for the industry, right? But in my opinion, candidly, it's kind of scary too. So to your point of angel investors, at the seed stage, one reason why it's actually there's the Series A crunch, and I'll just use that term, is because there's so much capital available at the seed stage from Facebook employees that have some liquidity now that want to put it to use. We're going to see, I think, a lot more of that. And so I think if I could predict, I'd say that it's actually going to make it more difficult for folks like Chris to filter through the noise and kind of identify those gems. And so, but overall, it's a cycle. My fear is what happens over the next few years. And if I could predict it, I probably wouldn't be sitting up here right now. But overall, I mean, it's good. It's why you are all doing what you're doing, is to make a difference. And some sort of liquidity event is typically some sort of indicator that you've done something right. And so I think overall it's positive, but it's scary as to what it's going to do at the seed stage and how much more noise it's going to create.
So generally it's positive for entrepreneurs for a number of reasons, but I think there's one reason not a lot of people talk about, but probably the most interesting, and it's that these large companies with massive balance sheets are now using these M&A acquisitions as a proof point of the next platform. They don't know what it is. So that creates opportunity for entrepreneurs. A lot of these acquisitions, whether they're in robotics like Google, whether it's Oculus like Facebook, they're trying to be ahead of the trend. And what that does for entrepreneurs is allows you time to think about what is the next platform, what is the next interesting product set, and go build that. And then ultimately capture value. So as long as you're building the right things and you're building for innovation and you're building for the future, this M&A environment is great. Now you can talk about, are these exits too big? Is this 99 and next year everything goes south? I think those are different questions that could be addressed, but generally a positive theme.
Yeah, I think going in, you want to know that there's an exit on the horizon, and I'm sure every entrepreneur wants to go public, but statistically it's so unlikely. So I think there being liquidity in the market is reassuring. I think it helps reassure your investors when they plow a bunch of money into you that there's potential for an exit. And funnily enough, when you ask the question, actually, when you're in the trenches, all you care about is hiring and talent. So when you ask the question, I think my mind twigs to like, what does this mean for being able to hire like the next Android engineer, the next iOS engineer? And I think you could see it either way. You can either see it as a bunch of kind of entrepreneurs get bored, they earn out and they leave. So they've left their hot startup because they get bored out of hell of working at Yahoo or Microsoft, and you hire them, and we've hired a bunch of people like that. The flip side is it's hard to hire these people because they've worked for 4 years to exit. They've been bought by Yahoo, and Yahoo gives them an incredibly soft landing. And so even though every bone in their body is entrepreneurial, it's hard to convince someone earning $300,000 a year that they should leave to join another Series A company after they've just been through the cycle. And so for us, like the kind of exit market is really, really enticing. We just aggressively go after employees who've recently exited and that we think might have earned out. It's a very common strategy for acquiring talent. The flip side is it makes the conversations hard financially because you're just not going to match what Yahoo is offering them. It might be anyone, but you have to have a compelling argument on the stock option package you're giving them that net their value's better off going back in. But yeah, it very much affects the talent war, and it's hard enough to beat Airbnb and Square as it is, but that just adds another dynamic that there's so much liquidity, there's so many acqui-hires going on that aren't acquisitions at all. They're just paying $3 million per engineer, and it was $1 million 2 years ago, and it's significantly higher than that now. So it really, I spend 50% of my time recruiting, and it completely changes my conversations and makes it incredibly exciting, but incredibly difficult at the same time.
I think sort of from the other side of the recruiting spectrum too, it becomes tough to hire like really high quality folks that are just out of school that haven't had an exit, but that it's hard to sway people away from being founders when there's all this kind of like pie in the sky desire out there. So yeah, it's good people are tough to find.
Just for the record, my last 2 hires came from AngelList. So
oh, yeah?
AngelList talent, like genuinely don't have shares in AngelList, but super strong if you're looking to found something. It's awesome.
Great.
Just a quick remark. I think that also from like speaking about early stage investors, seed stage investors, we've been getting that a lot from our investors, at least trying to start a conversation with us early on. Please do not get acqui-hired. Is really because there's so much activity. I think that seed stage, that's a big topic for seed stage investors. Is what we're feeling.
Do we have a question over here? Yeah.
Have you have experience trying to hire management consultants? I know you talked about, college students who made exits. What about management consultants as hiring opportunities?
So I'll take that because I was at BCG for a number of years in London and New York. Is your question kind of where to fit management consultants in?
There's the challenges of enticing them, and then since they are definitely risk averse, at least from my perspective.
Yep. Yeah, no, and that was me. We find they make incredible. We have a couple who work in biz dev and sales roles out of business school. I think a lot of consultants, again myself included, went to business school because they were just at a loss of what to do next. They didn't want to do consulting. They wanted to try try and take 1.5 years off to figure out what they wanted to do. For me, it was going to this. Yeah, it's kind of a crap answer, but out of business school is they've already made the decision to take a break. It's slightly self-selecting, so we hire out of various business schools. We get about 30 resumes a week from management consultants at business schools right now because summer's coming up for internships. So for us, it was kind of someone who's done it for 2 or 3 years, gone to business school, and they make incredible BD or sales hires for us.
Yeah, I was actually just on a recruiting call 2 days ago over the weekend with a management consultant. I think there's 2 ways. One is out of B school, clearly, that they've already kind of raised their hand saying, I'm interested. They may have had an internship at a startup. And I think the second is folks who've already jumped ship from management consulting into one startup and then they're looking to go elsewhere afterwards. If you're trying to go to McKinsey offices and recruit, good luck, that's not happening. So that's definitely not the path. It's kind of try to find the people who have already kind of self-volunteered and then pursue them.
Any other final questions or thoughts from anyone? Okay, great. Well, will you guys help me thanking our panel, giving them a round of applause? Really appreciate you guys coming in and providing perspective. And thanks to Runway, Nana, Brian, and all your hard work in helping put this together. Do you guys have any thoughts you want me to share about